folks, welcome to my channel or welcome back. My name is Kat. I'm a licensed and registered dietitian nutritionist. Now today's video is going to be a little bit different than normal. We are talking about greens and greens type supplements. I'm not the biggest fan of just automatically recommending one specific type of supplement for everybody. There are going to be times where a greens product is going to make sense for someone, and there are going to be times where maybe it doesn't really make the most sense. Greens products do not take the place of whole fruits and vegetables, but greens do have a place. They do have a time where they can be helpful for someone. Before we dive in, I do want to be very transparent. Every product has been provided to me free of cost by Ensō Supergreens. There has been no other kind of compensation received from that company or any other company. All right, so let's get into the review. First one we are talking about is Ensō. First thing I noticed, the labeling, there isn't any kind of claims jumping out like the words detox. If you know my channel, you know I'm not a fan of seeing the word detox on supplements. It just says digestion, immunity, energy. Those are typical things that we're going to think of when we're thinking about like plant intake overall. So you'll see on the screen a list of all of the ingredients or the supplement facts label. One of the things that I appreciate is that there is a higher amount, things like different kinds of seaweeds and grasses. Those are all things that I don't typically consume on a regular basis. Now I have Hashimoto's, which is a type of autoimmune condition. I like that it includes those seaweeds and also broccoli. I just like that I can have something that I know will work with my body. And something else that I found really interesting with this product is that it has peppermint leaf powder. Now, when you taste it, you can definitely taste the peppermint. Now, I am a peppermint girly. It is something that kind of felt like refreshing. Overall, for all of these products, greens have a very specific kind of underlying flavor. Some people cannot stand green products. I like that vegetable kind of taste across the board here with all of these products. There is going to, I don't know how you can get rid of that underlying green taste, the vegetable taste. That's not something that I found icky in any of these actually. Also, this product does not have the typical kind of prebiotic or fibers that are included in some of the other products. Those are helpful in some cases. In other cases though, they can cause gas and bloating. And a lot of the people who I work with, sometimes there are products where I'm like, that would give you more bloats. This is one that if they were looking for a greens in particular, that I would have them consider. There is kale and spinach in there, there's broccoli, but I might add something like some cucumber or blueberries, something that's not too overpowering with the flavor, but would still provide more of that variety when you're talking specifically about the fruits and the vegetables. There are a few herbs in here. Herbs are something that for some people on certain medications, that's something that you just want to get checked with your doctor. There is a blend of 5 billion colony forming units of a probiotic blend in here. For some people, probiotics can be very beneficial. Well, probiotics are going to be beneficial, but for supplementation purposes, sometimes probiotics are going to be a helpful kind of thing. Sometimes they might be contraindicated. So overall, with all of these products and just supplements in general, that is something that you want to take to your healthcare provider. Maybe talk to a registered dietitian in order to make the best recommendation for you. Overall, I love the variety of ingredients in there and that I don't normally get those ingredients in. Next up, we are talking about Bloom. One thing that I do like about Bloom is that berry variety that they have. There are berries that sometimes you don't necessarily get year round. They might be available year round, but like taste and cost play a role in how much they're consumed. Moving into things that I'm not so much of a fan of. On the labeling, it says bloating right here. The main ingredient is chicory roots in the largest amount. If someone really wanted that fiber, there are a lot of less expensive ways of getting that specific fiber into their intake. And at the same time, that's also going to be more promoting of bloat in some people. In their pre and probiotic blend, they list the prebiotic, the inulin, and then they list their 3 different strain blend of probiotics, and there is zero information about the colony forming units or the amounts of probiotics that are in there. They also have the adaptogenic blend. The amount that is listed is 100 milligrams. Now, on one side, I'm not the biggest fan, again, of herbs and things being in supplements that you don't have any kind of way of knowing how much of each is in there. But at the same time, even one of those is usually well below what one of the dosages of those might be for used for a specific reason. Is it really doing anything at that point in that amount? In their digestive enzyme blend, the first ingredient is maltodextrin. It is not an enzyme. It's typically used as kind of a filler, as a thickener. And so I am just kind of confused why they would include maltodextrin underneath the digestive enzyme blend. Moving into athletic greens or AG1, actually came with a canister. It's very aesthetically pleasing. Now, the first thing that I noticed, this is that third-party testing. NSF certified sport. We know that the contaminant concern or filler concern, that takes care of that piece. It opens up with spirulina, fibers, grasses, other seaweed, fruits and vegetables, things that I would expect in a large kind of greens product. They do have a mushroom blend in there. Mushrooms are one of those things where the recommendation as far as like dosage goes is not something that I feel the most comfortable with recommending for someone. There is not so much recommendation for if you have an autoimmune condition to consume mushroom supplements. I also work with a lot of people who have autoimmune conditions. Not something that I will typically recommend for the people who I'm seeing. They also incorporate some herbs, and again, they don't provide the total amount of those herbs. And that's just something that I wish that all supplements would be able to provide in total dosage amounts. There is an overall large variety of antioxidants within this product. If somebody did have a low variety of intake, this might be something that I would feel more comfortable with recommending. Also, if they don't have any autoimmune conditions, or if they were like training at high levels. It tasted pineapple-y to me. I could taste the pineapple ingredients in there. There was that underlying kind of greens flavor. Again, not really an issue for me as far as flavor goes. It's something that I could consume without issue flavor-wise. All right, the next one is Primal Greens. This actually does have a wide variety of fruits and vegetables. One of the widest varieties that I have seen in a greens product. I really appreciate that variety, especially for someone who is struggling to get in, like specifically fruits and vegetables. The downsides I would say is if somebody does notice that their intake of vegetables and fruits is lower because they have excessive bloating going on, this would not be something that I would recommend because of those varieties. Some of them are higher in certain carbohydrates that can cause a little bit more of those symptoms. There's chicory roots in there. There's also apple fiber in there. This would not be something that I would recommend for someone who has a low variety of fruit and vegetable intake because of the bloating that they are experiencing. But if they don't have those things and they are wanting to have that wider variety, this might be something that they incorporate that can kind of help with that intake overall. A little bit bummed about is that it does have some mushrooms in there, which again, going back to mushrooms, someone with an autoimmune condition, that's not something that I would feel super comfortable using. They also have 3.5 billion colony forming units of a probiotic blend, a 3-strain blend, which again could be beneficial for some people, not so beneficial for other people. It just kind of depends on the person again. They do have cinnamon in here. It was like a cinnamon on top of the greens kind of underlying taste. The last product is called Beyond Greens. There's no greens in it, and I think that's why they named it Beyond Greens. I think that it can attract similar kind of reasons why someone might want to incorporate greens. It is mostly a mushroom kind of blend. Going back to how I feel about recommending certain mushrooms when they're already in a blend, there's not like individual that you can dose a specific amount, maybe more than another one. Now, one thing that I do appreciate about this product is that on the supplements label, it lists literally everything on there, including the herbs that are in there and the amounts per serving. So wrapping that up again, if you're familiar with my channel, you know that I'm not going to recommend something that I think will be the best for every person. That is just impossible. There are still things that I would recommend more so out of this variety versus others. Really brief wrap up. The Beyond Greens, again, that's mostly mushrooms. If somebody is wanting to get more nutrient dense intake, I would encourage them to choose a product that has more greens, more vegetables in there. Bloom, she is cute, but she is gimmicky in my opinion. Athletic Greens are AG1, the most expensive out of all of these. I would expect more variety of vegetables and fruits in there for that price. Because of the amount of the other ingredients though, the other antioxidant, it might be a better choice for someone who really is not consuming an overall nutrient dense diet or who have very high levels of activity where they might need those extra antioxidants. And of course, be mindful if you do have an autoimmune condition because of the nutrients in there, specifically the mushrooms. Primal Harvest, I appreciate the variety of fruits and vegetables in there. Someone with an autoimmune condition, I'm a little bummed out that it does have the mushrooms in there. This would be better for someone if they did not have concerns with excessive bloating around vegetables, which unfortunately is not a lot of the people who I work with. Lastly, for Ensō, what I really do appreciate about this blend is that it has a variety of ingredients that I really don't consume ever. I wish it had like maybe some blueberries or some cucumber or other variety of vegetables in there, but what it does have are things that I don't normally consume. And I'm also glad that it does not have mushrooms in there. And if somebody is having excessive bloating with a lot of other kind of greens, this is something that I can have as an additional kind of recommendation. All right, so that wraps it up for this video. As always, remember, you can strive for health without subscribing to diet culture. I'll see you later. Bye.